Good morning, everyone. My time this uploads. I have already protected my space and said a prayer, although I will repeat it again for your benefit. For anyone watching this reading is for Libra for the first half of September 2021. So Libra, if your birthday is from September 23rd to October 22nd, welcome. This is the deck I'm going to be using today for the first part, Nature Spirits. It's another beautiful deck, and let's get started. Please hit the subscribe button, please hit the like button, please comment below. As I commented on the Virgo video at the end, all of these things do help, and not just the algorithm. When you're talking about algorithms, you're talking about what helps people to monetize things on YouTube. For me, it is not about monetization as much as there's a lot of time that goes into these videos. For instance, the Virgo one was almost an hour. And so if you hit the subscribe, if you hit the like button, even if you just leave a comment, even if it's just one person that sees this video, if it helps one person, then it was worth that hour of my time. And that's all that matters to me. So, but it helps me to know that this is, what you guys want. I should keep going, and that it's helping someone somewhere. So again, I'm sure you heard from many of the readings, time is fluid. This may still pertain to you. If you see it a year from now, 6 months from now, take it as it resonates. Means if it feels true to you, take that, use it to the best of your ability. Legal disclaimer, because I may not put it in writing down at the bottom. All readings are considered for legal purposes. All readings are considered entertainment purposes only. That means I am not a lawyer. I am not a psychologist. I do not have that degree. Maybe someday, but I do not have it right now. I am a Reiki master. I do energy healing. That is one of my areas of expertise. I have steady taxes. I can help with that. I am a manager. I can help with, some of the business stuff. None of which we're describing right here or talking about right here. But my point is that the reason that they say, and I agree with why they do it, the reason that they say that all readings are for entertainment purposes only is that you should never ever take a reading and take any piece of information from that reading and then say, oh, she must be talking about me, therefore I'm going to go buy a new car, or I'm going to go throw this job away. Okay? Your choices ultimately are yours. If a reader does see something that's not quite positive, and this must be important for Libras right now, if a reader does see something that is not an outcome that you like, readings are only a reader, one, tapping into a potential of a future on this timeline, which means that as long as everything stays the same, then that potential is the most likely potential to happen. If, however, you make changes, then you've just changed the future. Okay? So nothing is set in stone. And no reader that I know of can see every single potential that there is. What a good one can do is see a potential future and then kind of steer you away from the bad parts and assist you with finding your inner truth to help you make the decisions that you want to make for you, that are direct for you. For that, more personal readings are needed. This is just a general reading for the general energy of Libras for the first half of September. Having said that, let's get started. For your benefit, I will say a prayer. I encourage anybody who's watching these readings with any reader, if they don't say a prayer, please take time to say one for yourself. Reading is a doorway. You're calling into the open universe. And if you're not specifying who you're calling to, then You can't control who you get. So, having said that, if you're not Christian, please forgive me. I am open to all religions and all spiritual practices. I don't believe that God has a religion. As far as he's concerned, religion was for our benefit, not his. It's so that we can gather with like-minded people. However, the prayers that are used in different religions, and watch the Virgo reading if you want to see. I go on a spiel about words and quantum physics. They have vibration and they have a power of their own. So certain prayers have more protection. And this one has been mine and my favorite. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. Heavenly Father, please enter me of past reading and all other thoughts, negative or otherwise. Please clear my own filters, Heavenly Father, so that I might see the messages that you have to give for the Libras for the first half of September 2021 clearly and accurately in the way in which you would have me give them. I ask this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Alright. Not as bad as I thought. We're only 5 minutes in. Alright. So I'm going to, for all of these readings, these general 2-week readings, for now, until I'm told otherwise, universe, God, spirit, however you want to put it. If you really want to get technical, I call upon God, the creator of all things, in all times, in all places, that in which we live. And to explain that, you need to study quantum physics, which I don't have enough time for. Anyway, I'm just babbling as I shuffle. I'm going to pull 3 cards, and then I will read out of the book, the message from the book on those, unless otherwise told something very specific, which I didn't expect that happened before in the Virgo reading. And then I will pull clarifier cards. So, and you'll have to forgive me, as the Virgo reading went for almost an hour, I got very thirsty, so I made myself a lemonade berry cream mixture, which I'm not sure how well that's going to go over with my stomach, but it looks good. I'm going to drink it. You see me turn green, don't call 911. It's just the sour lemonade or something. If I ever do the cooking thing I want to do, you'll probably see lots of experimenting. First one out was Flowing River. We have 2 cards in the second pile. Yeah. I don't suggest adding cream to lemonade. It didn't work well. It still tastes good, it did not mix like I hoped. This is now turned into a drink cooking show as well as the reading itself. Okay, Libras, just so you know, if you haven't seen any of my readings before, when more than one card falls out, typically the top card is either the answer to the question or whatever guidance God is giving. In this case, we're talking about the general guidance for September first half. And this is usually the why or the root of the issue. Okay, so we'll get more into that once we read the books. And we'll just see how it goes, what I'm guided to do. But even though the two came out, because they came out exactly one on top of the other, interesting. Okay. This one came out, I actually had 3 more fall out, but these two, as I was saying, when they come out together, came out. Sacred Mountain and Spirit Keeper of the South. And then off to the side, the Storyteller. And somehow I have a feeling I might be making fun of you with this one with this one a little bit, but I'll look at that one in a minute. Okay, so we're going to start with the Flowing River. This was the first card out, and again, these are Native Spirit Oracle cards by Denise Lynn. Very beautiful cards. I will see if I can find links to some of these cards and put them in the description box below for anyone who likes them. I have found them to be absolutely amazing. Okay, so unfortunately these have no numbers, no way of looking them up. I want to see. Oh, they are in alphabetical order, thank you. Okay. Everything is falling into place because you aren't resisting the drift of the great river of life. It's time to let go. You're entering a period of gracious ease and flow. All is unfolding perfectly and with good timing. When you're in a state of flow, you aren't pushing the river to go faster and you aren't swimming against it. Let go of the shore and enjoy the ride. Your native spirit wants you to know rivers have personalities and carry energy, just as animals and plants do. From the Morris, M-A-O-R-I-S, Morris, to the Australian Aborigines, and to the other native cultures throughout the world. It is believed that it is important to listen to the language of the river. If you aren't feeling the smooth current of life, it might mean that you're trying to control situations, or that you're being self-critical or judgmental. The way to move into the flow is through gratitude and appreciation, and by allowing others to support and help you. Heed the Native American saying, it's best to ride the horse in the direction that it's going. Oh, it's best to ride the horse. Nope, that's what that was said right. It's best to ride the horse the direction it was going. This means that when the card Flowing River chooses you, you are being told to let go and go with the flow. If there's something or someone you need to forgive, this is the time. This is also the time to forgive yourself and just let go. The journey. As you shower and the water flows over your body, imagine that everything is flowing into your life. Spend time next to a river or stream and watch the flowing river waters. Use it as a metaphor to let go and enter the flow. Okay, and now we will clarify that one. And I kept seeing, I also keep seeing something else, and I don't know if it's going to come up later, but I wish I could draw really fast. It was a large circle. Looked like some of the depictions of sunflowers I've seen, but it was, excuse me, instead of having yellow petals, it has blue petals all around it. Oh. Okay, the colors are important for you, Virgo. There's a message coming through with this image that I'm seeing. The center of it is a light yellow. Okay. It's a very light yellow. There is something coming up about needing to step into your power, because there's a light yellow, the ring of orange, it's almost like looking at like some of the colors of the chakra, okay? The ring of orange around the yellow is faded and faint and not strong. So your power center needs to be strengthened. Your sense of your desires for your heart, your what I call your hearth and home, orange chakra, okay? It's the seat of what you want in life, out of life. Your passions are things that you love to do, all the things that you love to do, and that is seated in what they call your root chakra, your sacral chakra, okay? Your root chakra, the red chakra that's kind of between your legs and your tailbone, okay? And I'm mangling these approximates just a little bit. I have a chart that could show this much better, but in trying to get the message out, I'm trying not to screw this up too much. The ring around okay, in my head, I am seeing a circle that's roughly about that big. It's a perfect circle. And the yellow is very light. It means your power center, the force that you are sending out, the energy you are giving out, is a lot, but it's not strong. You're not replenishing yourself. The ring around that, there's two of them, very thin and very small. Your orange and your red. It means that you're not nurturing those ideas. You haven't really formed the ideas in some instances of what you want for the house, what you want for your life, what that is supposed to look like to you. And in some instances, that's because your red, your root chakra, is very thin and circled, centered around, and they're both centered around that energy that you're giving out. Instead of being aligned, everything is centered on what you're giving out. And what you're giving out is almost overwhelming, overpowering everything else. Interestingly enough, though, the heart chakra isn't in there. I didn't see any of the heart chakra colors. I didn't see the crown chakra. I didn't see what I saw was the throat chakra. So there's a lot of communication going out, and the communication was beautiful. It's it's not as clear. It's a darker blue, and there was definitely some wavy lines in there, so it's not as clear as it could be, but there's a lot of it, and it's getting out there. There's a message getting out there for I'm going to say more than one Libra, okay? There's messages getting out there, but the first part of September, I think part of this going with the flow has to do with that vision that I had. And I had it as soon as as soon as that prayer was happening, the minute I began the prayer, my eyes were closed, that's when I started saying it. And it's this whole message of maybe a better way to put it is, there are Libras out there that have a message, okay? And they're getting the message out there. And they're getting the message out there in a big way, okay? And the energy behind this is fueled by their power center, and it's fueled by their idea of what they want for their life, and again, linguistics, the idea, what they think they want for their life, okay, and their passion, but they have not been fueling themselves. So the message is getting out there, but it's a little less clear than it could be, because their power center is weak. They're in terms of the energy going out is strong, that there's a lot of it going out, but it's like if you look at a glass of lemonade, okay, power center is supposed to, the chakra center is supposed to look like the peel of a lemon. When I see it, okay? It's very bright. It's strong. Think of it like a beacon of light, okay? But when that beacon gets watered down, and it can get watered down from someone else's power. Now, I could see a power center as more on the whitish side if someone is channeling divine energy and that divine energy is coming through. But usually, if that's happening, you're going to see all of the chakras affected by that. All of them are going to be displaying that divine light from behind. And usually the chakra center itself is going to appear still yellow. It may be a little more clear, translucent. A little more translucent than a lemon peel. But it's going to be just as bright. Okay? The impression I'm getting from this is this is an energy of other people's desires and passions and energy fueling into this communication, into this voice, this message that's going out. And so the message for the first half of September is, there was that part in there, and let me read it again. Yes, there's a message of going with the flow, and you're doing great works, but, okay, let me go with exactly what it said, because there is a okay, if there is something or someone you need to forgive, this is your time. Time to forgive yourself. Okay, if you aren't feeling the smooth currents of life, it might mean that you're trying to control situations or that you're being self-critical or judgmental. It might mean. It might mean. Let me express what I'm getting though. The other thing it could mean, and yes, going with the flow can be a great thing when we're talking about synchronicities and following our life path and our life purpose. However, teenagers go with the flow too. They are often influenced by other people's thoughts, ideas, emotions, and then they go with the flow. And then they do something stupid or something against their character, against their nature, against their morals. And when they go home and they say, oh, I got in trouble for X, Y, Z, and the parents were like, well, why did you do that? If Johnny jumped off a bridge, would you? And I can tell you, some of them will look you straight in the face and say, yep, if Johnny jumped off the bridge, I would. And I'm sorry, sweetie, I don't mean to talk bad of you. Anyone who knows you knows you're a light, sweetie. But he had the most sarcastic mouth you could imagine, right? And we do that to ourselves sometimes. We defensively say things to justify the moves that we're making. So there's some clarification in this. Yes, this is about learning September, from the beginning of September until mid-September, for the first half of September. It's going to be about learning to go with the flow. Well, when you add the word learning in there, you always know there's lessons. So that doesn't mean just blindly go with the flow. And what I'm talking about is when that teenager comes home and says that, the parents usually smacking themselves up the side of the head, right? But eventually, the teenager learns that there's some flows you shouldn't flow with. And you've got to march to the beat of your own drum. March to the beat of your own flow, right? Follow your own synchronicities. So the other thing that can happen is when you're feeling that angst, when you feel that it doesn't feel quite right, that might be the time to say, hey, whoa, stop for a second. This river is beautiful. It's amazing. It's a wonderful story. It's absolutely gorgeous. But it's not where I'm wanting to go. Right? Because if you're trying to float down the Nile River, you're not going to get in a boat on the Mississippi, are you? So it's a message about knowing where your river's going, being clear. That's what that vision was about. There's an energy here of the solar plexus chakra being the light being not even dimmed, just watered down by other people's thoughts, other people's purpose, other people's emotion, rather than giving voice to your own. And that flower was so beautiful. It was like, the circles here, and it spreads out to here with these, out to here with these beautiful, and when I see it as it's healing from within, now is coming out some of the green, some of the heart chakra, now is coming out some of the pink, now the red's getting deeper. As it gets, as you're vocalizing and you're being that wonderful spokesperson that Libras can be, just make sure, this is about learning which river you want to be on. It's time to take some time to figure out, do you want to be going down the Nile, or do you want to be going down the Mississippi? Or do you want to be in Antarctica sitting in the snow and not near a river at all? So that needs to be balanced out. The message that you're giving out is wonderful, but if you're taking the space to give out that message, then that doesn't leave room for, say, someone else who might have more passion for that message, who might have more heart for that message, who could give that message, and those petals would be just an amazing clear blue with no interruption. And if you were to turn your focus to your passion and to what you love, then your voice would give birth to that amazing vision. And I know that was a long little time into it. I don't even think we need to have any sort of clarification on that, but just in case Spirit wants to do anything. Holy mackerel, I didn't even get shuffled. Okay. I did not get to shuffle these, so I don't think I'm going to take these, but I'm going to look at them anyway. I'll just show you in case they come up again. King of Wands in reverse, and Two of Swords. So, choices to make. This King of Wands always looks like a reptilian snake man, not the charmer of my other decks. Alright. Ooh. Oh, that is a message. Choose wisely what you're giving voice to. I will take these. Choose wisely what you're giving voice to. Many of you Libras have a choice in the first part of September. You will be given opportunities, whether at work, within just your small little group, whether it is to be the parent called upon to give the sex talk. Okay, from small, and I'm saying small because the group is small, right? That you have 30 kids, to someone who gets up on a podium and gives a speech to thousands of millions of people. Choose wisely what you speak on. Make sure that you have the passion and the heart for it. Make sure that this is your energy and not someone else's energy, because sometimes you could be selling snake oil. If you don't feel good about this, do not do it. And if you have any doubts, if you have even just you don't, and I'm not talking about doubts in your speaking, I'm talking about the subject of what you're speaking on. We all have doubts when we get up in front of people, although Libras tend to be fairly outgoing, okay? The ones I've known. But he's coming off as like this masked snake oil salesman to me. But the message I got with him is that some of these messages that you will be asked to give, they are snake oil. They are false. They're not accurate. And that's what's going to muddy things up. But some of them, many of them, will be genuine, honest, good messages. And the challenge here is that Libras are very outgrowing. They do not mind being the center of attention. And they like to help humanity. They like to give a good message. They like to be part of that which is making things better. Okay? But if you do not 100% believe in this, if this is not your heart, your passion, even if you believe in the message intellectually, okay, even if you know it to be true, if it's not where your heart is, if you don't understand it inside and out, you may actually be doing the whole thing a disservice. Not just the speech, but the whole movement. I'm going to say movement, okay, because that's the feeling I get. You might be doing the whole movement a disservice, the whole world a disservice, if you accept it when your heart's not in it. Because even if you intellectually believe it, if your heart's not in it, you may come off sounding like a snake oil salesman. Do you know what I mean? Because people are going to know if it comes from the heart. Now, that's not to say to abandon all these projects or these opportunities to give a message that are going to come across all Libras if you have any doubt. But it is to say that if there's competition for who's going to speak, don't take it just to win the competition. If there's multiple people, be willing to recognize who the best one is for that. If it is your passion, if that's your drive, if that is the one thing you know the most about in this world, and you absolutely love it, and you know how to explain it to people, and you go around explaining it all the time, all day, every day anyway, then yes, you are the perfect heartfelt spokesman for that, and you could change the world doing it. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is a beautiful thing. Okay? But if you're just doing it because you want to be good, and because the message needs to get out there, and because, you should, maybe you should look beside you or around you or behind you and see if maybe there isn't someone else who's a little shy, who maybe could use some guidance from you to shine, and maybe they could give that message more. And maybe your way of helping the world is to help that one person. So think about that as you're being asked this month to have conversations, to do especially large group things. Like I said, even the little things. Okay, take your time with even the little ones. If your kid comes home, they're going to do a sex ed talk, you're caught on the fly, you got to come up with that thing. Take your time to think through how you want to say it. Make sure that, no parent's heart is really in that, but your heart is for your kid. So what do you want them to know? What do you not want them to learn from the rest of the world? Right? If you've got to give a business speech, And it's a motivational thing to get the whole company motivated so we don't fall after this whole last 2 crappy years. What are you going to say? Are you the best one to say it? Is your heart in it? And maybe, excuse me, maybe you absolutely love your company, but maybe you're just so tired, your heart's not in it. Or maybe you don't think that the things that they're promoting are the best way to go about it. So in that case, you have 2 choices. Tell them, ask somebody else to say this, or you can step up and say, hey, I'm really all for motivating, but I don't think that these steps are going to motivate. This is what I think. And if it's from your heart, you might just change a company, which then might change something else and something else. It's all a ripple effect. That's how the river works. Okay. This was a bad idea. There's blueberries and strawberries and they're real ones. So, great idea for a drink. Bad idea to do this while I'm doing this. I think I'm going to go get just plain water in a second. The next ones we have are Shapeshifter and then Grandmother Earth. So we will read Shapeshifter first. Okay. You can be anything you desire. Let go of attachment to your identity. See the world around you with new eyes. Be malleable. Experiment with different ways of viewing reality. See the point of view of others. If you have not been able to manifest your dreams, maybe you need to shift the way you see the person or situation. Your native spirit wants you to know, in earth-based cultures, shapeshifters had the mystical ability to transform into other forms of consciousness. It is said that these beings were not imagining that they were changing into a specific animal, plant, or stone. They could actually morph into another shape. Just because most people today don't think this is possible doesn't mean that it's not true. This card shows you because it wants you to know that your past does not need to equal your future. Simply shifting your point of view or your belief system can bring an entirely new destiny into being. The journey. To deepen your ability to shapeshift, simply imagine that you're an animal, bird, plant, or stone. Make it as real as you can. Doing this deepens your ability to shift your beliefs and limiting decisions that perhaps have held you back from fulfilling your highest destiny. Okay, and Grandmother Earth is next. I specifically get this one is more for it's not just that it can go 2 ways, that it literally does go 2 ways. Because there could be moments when you're invited to have a talk and your heart's in it, and then there could be moments in September where you're invited to do something and your heart's not. The secret to shape-shifting is touching the animal. And no, I can't shapeshift that way, but I can sense energy and connect with it enough that I can feel what the animal felt. And from what I've read, the shapeshifters work the same way, connecting to the energy of the animal, right? But it was connecting with them with enough compassion, enough understanding to literally imbue their spirit with that of the animal. And that's how they supposedly became the animal. In healing, you do the same thing. You kind of, for a moment in time, become one with that animal's energy. Seeing what hurt it, where it's hurting, it's going through, just like you do a person. Okay? And I think what this is calling upon the Libras to do in the first half of September is to those of you that are asked to give talks that you believe in intellectually, that you believe in, but you don't necessarily yourself have the heart for. If you have to give that talk, if you're required to it, take the time to do what the shapeshifters did, not just to do the intellectual research for your talk or your speech, but to actually put yourself in the position of that upon which you are speaking on both sides of the equation. So for instance, if you're talking about let's say you work for the forestry, and I'm bringing this up because it came up in a conversation recently for me, okay? So it's the first thing that popped in my head. But let's say that you're talking about the forestry's way of thinning trees, okay? You might be a park ranger. You might be, and I'm not saying there's Libra out there, there's park ranger, but there could be. You could be called upon to talk to a whole town about how the forestry department is going to come in and they're going to thin the trees. And you'll be giving this speech, and it's a wonderful speech, and intellectually your heart's in it, right? Or your head's in it, I mean, because you know what you've got. But if your heart isn't in it, if you're just like, that's not your favorite part of the job, maybe you got into forestry more for the animals, for whatever reason, but you're the one there, you're the one that has to do it, it's not going to go over very well, or as well, for that little town who doesn't want their trees thinned. Those people who own that land, who may have seen devastating results from it having been done in the past, and maybe they don't understand that it was planned perfectly, the perfect number of trees. It's just that a freak unexpected storm came through and then started a fire or decimated, 300 acres with rain or whatever. I don't understand enough about forestry to understand exactly how that goes. Okay, so the message here is, if you have to give a speech like that, if you're put in a position like that, if you're doing something that is going to have an impact, and I'm getting the feeling we're going to read a lot about Mother Earth here, and this is why this is being asked of you. If you have something that is going to make an impact on the earth that you're giving a speech on, make sure that you do so with as much compassion as you can. That means getting in touch with all of the elements. It means being not just well versed intellectually in the books, but actually having gone out there into that part of the forest, looked at the ground, what is growing there. Is it already decimated? Are there already, the oldest trees have already been thinned too much or not enough? What are the people, the local people, going to say? What are their feelings on it? How does it affect them economically? How does it affect them emotionally? Maybe the tree that, Joe Bob marked without looking at the other side is a 200-year-old pine that 5 feet up has Sally's grandpa's name with her grandma, and 2 feet, below that is their great grandma, or reverse that, great grandma, then grandma, and then her parents, and then last year her and her husband put their name on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that there's a tree out there like that, but you never know. In small towns, people do put little hearts with their name on it. I myself have cried over trees being torn down because the leaves made a mess. So you never know until you do the research from the heart. And when you speak from the heart, again, the message is going to be more clear. So that's part of what they're calling upon you to do, is to think about it from the other side. Look at it from all angles, and if you take on that task, do your best to speak from the heart, to be able to speak from the heart with compassion. Okay? Grandmother Earth. Stop and take measure of your life. Assess who you are and where you are. Get grounded. Make plans for the future, but don't act on those plans until you are ready and feel secure in stepping forward. There is a profound source of strength and power within you. It is expanding now. Put your roots down. This is the time of preparation and going deeper. Your native spirit wants you to know Grandmother Earth provides the trees, plants, flowers, rivers, streams, oceans, mountains, valleys, and supports us all with her bounty. She is stable and strong in her devotion to us. You are supported and loved, even if you are not always sure of it. Strength is growing within you. Don't rush. Slow down. The seeds that you plant now will bring abundance in the future, but only if you take the time to nurture those new beginnings. Take time to plan your future carefully. Don't rush into anything. Security and protection surround you. You are safe. If you're thinking of making secure financial investments and receive this card, it is telling you that this is a good time to do so. It is not a time to take risks. The journey to deepen your connection to Grandmother Earth and brings security in all forms to your life. Walk barefoot on the earth, place your hands on the earth, or make investments. Imagine the strengthening, grounding energy of the earth filling you in your life. So behind the shapeshifter energy, the energy of being compassionate, looking at things from other people's perspective, there is an energy of stability and not taking unwise risks, but stable leaps of faith. And since this whole thing seems to be about messages that Libras are getting out, I get the very strong feeling this is like, if you get into this shapeshifter energy, if you are able to tap into not just the idea or the side that you believe in, and I'll go back to that forest ranger, because of course the forest ranger, that's his job. He's going to promote the thinning of the trees, right? But there's small farmers that believe that that is not the right way to do it, that they don't want to do it that way because they believe that it affects the ecology of the floor of the forest in a negative way. They some of them believe it causes more forest fires. I think a lot more research needs to be done on what is actually happening. But the point is that there's two sides, and if this forest ranger goes in there and he's just like off the cuff spews out the standard speech, he's going to meet with resistance. But if he tries to understand what the other side's concerns are and address those concerns to the best of his ability, he's going to meet with less resistance. Well, herein comes opportunities. Not just in his own understanding and his own growth, and I'm saying he, but it could be she, not just in their own understanding and their own growth, but also in as you learn to take other people's perspectives into consideration, to look at things from the other side, more doors will open, more stable opportunities. For some people, this is going to lead to more stability within the job or life situation that you have currently, and for others, it's going to lead to more openings, more potential opportunities to speak on those things that you're passionate about. So I think it's a kind of a beautiful energy, and I will go ahead and get the clarifier card real quick. Alright, God, creator of all things at all times and all places, consciousness that is in us, through us, and surrounds us, and that we are in on a quantum physics level. please tell me what else I need to know for this shapeshifter energy for the first half of September. What do the Libras need to know? The Hanged Man in reverse. This Hanged Man, and I feel like I'm repeating myself for different videos, but I know from my numbers that many people who watch one do not go and watch another, so I feel like I have to repeat myself. This particular Hanged Man is always different for me. He has old world linguistics, and this is coming up. I didn't mention this in the other videos, but this is this is ruins, and I think they're Thoth ruins. I think. Let me look. Yeah. Okay. So the Thoth ruins, which is a type of language. So we've got in this card a reference to language, old world language. Okay. This picture is a depiction of, interestingly enough, it's both it's the other thing I like about this card is even in the reverse, then the mirror image is upright, and then that one is in reverse, and then the next one's upright, but they're also a mirror, an infinite cycle, one within the other, going on forever. And then you have a mixture of his old world clothes, it's like this never ending cycle. And I get a very strong message that this shapeshifter, something about what Libras are being called to do right now is speak out. Speak out on those things which you have a heart to speak out on that are going to affect the planet right now, that are going to affect the world in a profound and better way. Hangman in reverse means being unsure, which takes me back to that vision I had before about Libras who are using their talent and they're speaking about certain subjects and they're being vocal, but they're not being vocal about the subject that their heart is in, or they've, for whatever reason, because it's been watered down, their heart may not be in it any longer. Whichever the case is, they're being called upon to talk about those things, to act on those things where their heart is. And mostly I get that this is talking about acting, singing, speeches, writing books. It's strong communication, strong throat chakra. And the throat chakra is anything that is talking, singing, communication. Art also comes out, interestingly enough, both with the third eye chakra, the crown chakra, but also is a form of communication. So art is also through your photography, through your writing, through painting. That is all considered throat chakra energy. It is all communication energy. And Libras are being called upon to use that energy, whether it's, as I said, whether it's in a small setting in the home, or whether it is a corporate setting, or whether it is an entrepreneurial type of energy. But to figure out, one, is this going to be helpful to, and in micro and macro, okay? So teaching your children to be the best they can be helps the planet, because then they go out and it's a ripple effect. Helping your company to be the best it can be, and I don't mean profit margin, but overall beneficial, helps the planet because it ripples out. Other companies will have to compete. They will be inspired. So treating the employees well, productivity levels, minimal footprint on the planet, treating the customers well, making sure every customer has a smile and when they leave, and every customer has a great day. Customer service. You have no idea the difference it can make to somebody who has had to spend 4 hours on hold with customer service waiting to talk to somebody. When they finally get to the other end of that line, if that person is nasty and mean because they're in this energy and they can't really stand to do their job, and they're just reading the script, the whole rest of the day is horrible. Or I can spend 4 hours on the phone, get to customer service, and this person loves their job, wants to help people, wants to make sure that everything is taken care of, and I leave feeling like that 4 hours was worth it. I feel accomplished. I can go out and I can help. I have the energy to help 3 other people because someone just made my day better. Little things matter, and little things add up. And that Libras are being called very strongly to communicate through their art, through their writing, through their work. You may be getting opportunities in the first half of September for that communication to happen in many different ways, especially if you're in that group that is having issues with your sacral chakra and your root chakra, where your power has been watered down by other people's thoughts and other people's ideas. It's still strong. You're getting the energy out there very strong, but it's not your own power. Okay? Again, if I give you a glass of, and I started to give this example and then I got sidetracked. I give you a glass of lemonade and it is deep yellow, right? The right amount of lemon, the right amount of water, the right amount of sugar, and it's sweet, and you drink it, you feel amazing. Now, if I give you a watered down glass, a glass that is still somewhat yellow, but it has water, a lot of water in there, and you're going to drink that, and it's still going to quench your thirst, but it's not lemonade. It's not right. You know what I mean? You're looking for your power, not everyone else's, yours. So you want to have something that you have your heart into. You want to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Or maybe supposed to is not quite the right word, but what you're drawn to do. Again, going black with this flowing river. You don't want to go with anybody's flow. You want to go with your flow. Go with your synchronicities, the flow of your river. Beat to your drum. And when you beat to your drum, everything else is just going to be beautiful. I mean, it's like night and day. It's beautiful. The last piece of advice. Excuse me, guys. Sacred Mountain and Spirit Keeper of the South. So we're going to read Sacred Mountain first. Here we go. Be still and take the time to move into the silent place within yourself. Locate your internal source of power. Meditate. Wait. Do not move forward until it feels right. Surrender to stillness. Do not take action. If you observe rather than react, you claim your power. Your native spirit wants you to know, from the vantage point of the sacred mountain, your power grows. In silence, you'll find your sacred witness. It is the dwelling place of your soul. In peace, seek and discover your truth. Move past the bustle and clutter of life into sweet quietude. If you're in pain, don't lash out. Go into it until you find the source so that you can be healed. Resist the temptation to indulge in feelings of stress, urgency, and emergency. Your power is born in silence. This peace gives birth to your serenity. Seek solitude to listen to the voice of your higher self and awaken your inner wisdom. The journey. Travel to the peaks of the hallowed mountains. And if you can't do this in person, travel in your meditation. Imagine yourself atop a high peak. You can see the world in all directions. Give thanks and offering to the mountain. Whenever you encounter them, the spirit of the mountain will deeply appreciate your gifts. I'm going to read the second card in here a second, but I think this goes back to the example that I gave of the ranger, right? And he's trying to give this speech on rather not speech, but he's telling the small community that they're going to come through into the trees. And if he's met with yelling and screaming and resistance, he has, again, there's choices. They show the choices. And some of those choices will be of your own making, as in this sort of example. So if all of a sudden they're screaming and they're yelling and they're hollering, he has choices. He can scream and yell and holler back, and then it's going to be like just this big mad push and this war and people tying themselves to trees if you want. Or if you take the advice of the sacred mountain and you go within and at the shapeshifter and you try to look at it from their perspective, if you do that first, your message will be more clear, more easily understood, more easily accepted. It'll just be overall healthier, better. Okay, Spirit Keeper of the South. Abundance and prosperity in all forms, expansion, surging energy, activity, movement, rapid growth. Be open to receiving the bounty of the universe. This is a great time for medical procedures. Your energy will be at a maximum. Your native spirit wants you to know, in the medicine wheel, the south is the direction that symbolizes the warmth of the noonday sun, summertime, the full moon, and the time of rapid growth. Crops grow with vigor during the summer months. In the human cycle, it also represents the vitality of childhood. This is your time to shine. It is also a time of great bounty in all areas of your life. Open your arms to receive gifts from the universe. If you live in the southern hemisphere and draw this card, read Spirit Keeper of the North instead for meanings are reversed. The journey. Stand facing south during the midday. Close your eyes and feel the warmth of the sun opening your heart center. Absorb the sunlight as you sense yourself absorbing the abundance of the universe. Okay. Sacred Mountain. Just kind of a reiteration on the rest of that message. Spirit Keeper of the South, though, I'd like to get more clarification on that specifically. So, if you'll indulge us, Heavenly Father. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. So it's behind us. It's reversed. I almost forgot myself. How I'm supposed to read. Journal message. What's behind it? Why we're being told to pause, to look at things from other people's perspective, to take a breath before we answer. Noonday sun, summertime, full moon. Because we're in a time of rapid growth. That's what this is talking about. Okay. because the Spirit Keeper, because this card in the Medicine Wheel represents a time of rapid growth. It also it represents the summer months, which we're in. So basically what this is saying is, this is why we're being asked, or this is why the Libras are being asked to think carefully on what their speeches convey. Think carefully on those messages, those movements that they become the spokesman for, and place themselves wisely in a place where they can do the most good, where their heart is. And think about other people's thoughts on things, because we are in these summer months right now in 2021 in September, and things are changing in our world very rapidly, and it's those changes that are why the universe is calling on Libras to get into this energy, because Libras are, what I'm being told is, Libras are the spokesman for the planet, for in terms of astrologically. Like, you have people talk about Aquarian enlightening people. Well, I know Aquariuses, and they're very vocal and very pushy with their opinions. They enlighten people by being very harsh in their, like, just straight shooters, right? And they can promote change that way. Tauruses are known for being the nurturing, the mothers, the caretakers, the earth children. Aries are intellectual. They bring about change by creating things, coming up with new inventions, new ideas. And obviously inventors can be any sign, but I'm just saying these are some of the things that Aries are known for. Their intellect, their fire, their passion. And I could go on, but what I'm being told is that Libras are exceptionally good at vocalizing. They're exceptionally good at speaking. And it's for them, it may not be the art, the photography. Like, an Aries might express himself through his inventions. A Taurian might express themselves through poetry or through writing or through some other communication thing. But Libras are exceptionally good at their communication skills in terms of speaking, acting, even writing to some degree, in which they can envision themselves in the part, or they can envision someone they know in the part. They are they do not lend themselves to drama in their real life, but when their heart is in it and they are impassioned, they can become dramatic, and not in a bad way, but in an exceptional, engaging, life-changing, earth-changing way. And the universe is calling upon Libras to do that, as many as will take up the call, to follow their passion. That doesn't mean give up your jobs. That doesn't mean run away from your family, but that does mean, in whatever small capacity that you can manage, to step up and promote those things that you are truly heartfelt about, especially those that will assist the planet. And now I will see if there's anything else that the universe wants to say on that one. Sacred Mountain. Any clarification for that, God? Okay, let's ask one for fine, because I'm getting the feeling that there's no real clarification at this point. God's pretty much said all he's going to say on it. But what will happen for those Libras that do accept this challenge in the first half of September, and that do begin opening up and fighting for the planet, assisting this beautiful change that we could see, because we're going through a lot of changes and it can go a lot of different ways, you know. But what will happen for those, what will it bring to those Libras that take up the calling? Ace of Wands. Progression, learning, knowledge, protection. Finding your true passion about your heart. Desires, what you desire for your home, your surroundings, your environment. That's the orange. The wind symbol, the intellect, the thought, that crown chakra energy, the divine energy coming down is protection. The symbols on the staff, knowledge, intellect. That is what you can expect if you take up your calling. The last one that flew out is storyteller. Live larger than life. Make the most of every experience. You can choose the meaning that you give events. Find interpretations that empower you rather than diminish you. Be the storyteller and the hero of your own life. Give your personal story empowering meanings. Your native spirit wants you to know around the evening campfire, clan members always look forward to the storyteller recounting events of the daily happenings of the tribe. Even the most mundane event took on a vibrancy in the expert hands of the experienced storyteller. The storyteller card chooses you to remind you to be the champion of your own personal myth. Be the center character. Don't live life according to the needs and expectations of others. Don't be a bit player in your own story. Confirmation of the other cards. So, again, let me repeat. The storyteller card shows to remind you to be the champion of your own personal myth. Be the central character. Don't live life according to the needs and expectations of others. In other words, that watered down power center, their thoughts, their needs, their belief systems. Choose your own and let them shine. Tell your story, your truth, your honesty. Make the planet what you want to see. It starts with one person. Everything starts with one person. Take an event in your life that you give a disempowering meaning and find a way to rescript it so that the interpretation of the same story is one in which you are the hero. Libra, the universe is calling you to be the heroes that the world needs, not by running out and chasing down fires and rescuing babies or getting into anything physically dangerous, but by telling your truths, whether that is through acting, through scripting, through writing, poetry, song, videos. But there's a very, very, very strong call for them to do it vocally. Again, acting, song, scripting movies, that's still a vocal way of doing it because you're putting your message into it. Books, the same way. Speeches. We need you, Libras. And on that note, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you have a story to tell, if you are inspired and you have something you would just love to do, and a message that you think that would empower the world and make it a better place, leave a comment down below. Not only will I read the comments, and I do read them all, but if I like it enough, maybe we should give you your first opportunity. Maybe we should do an interview, and then you can tell your story. and show all the Libras how it's done. On that note, have a beautiful day. Thank you for being here. I love you guys.